Hello guys, so with Worlds just around the corner and today the 15th of September being the World Drawn Show, I figured why not introduce the play-in teams. These teams are not as well known as the main stage teams from the major regions, so I figured maybe I give you some info on their key players, their roster, the history of the players, a bit of history of the team, and I have some special information on the solo queue ranked of these players in China right now. They're all there boot camping, so the current solo queue rank can indicate some level of skill relative to the other competitors in the tournament. So I'm starting with Legacy Esport. So Legacy Esport from the OPL, the Australian region, you say, they had a really dominant year. They won spring playoffs, summer, and summer playoffs, and went 41-9 this year. Really dominating, showing in their own region, and well, their team is doing rather fine. So Tupon in top, Babib in jungle, Halo in mid, Tali in mid as they switch positioning sometimes, Reese in ADC and Isles as support. Most of their team comes from Mammoth or Mammoth Academy, and only Tali is a long-time legacy player. They don't really have any special picks in their roster. The top lane plays On and Gangplank, and Graves and Jungle are played in the jungle mostly. Oriana for Halo, and Telly plays Ziggs and Karma. That's a bit special at the moment. ADC nothing special. Kate and Ezreal player. But the support surprisingly plays lots of enchanting supports, and that's not only Lux, but also Yumi and Karma. Overall, most of their players are Diamond 1 at the moment in the solo queue, where they're all boot camping, but Halo and Rez, so the sub mid laner and the main AD carry, they're currently in Diamond 4. So the OPL is a region that has been improving over the last years, bit by bit, but was always sending different teams to Worlds. So this team now has to show how the OPL improved again, especially if this team was so dominant in this split in summer and the whole year in general. 41-9, they smashed the region. So yeah, this is OPL's chance to show how they improved. So going to the next team, it's INTZ from Brazil. I think many of you know this team from 2016 Worlds, I think. And they were also at last MSI. But yeah, their showing there wasn't that great. And in general, this team didn't have a especially dominating year. They were 7th in spring, 2nd in summer, and then in summer playoffs had a surprise upset against PNG, Pain Gaming, the first place from the summer split in a 3-1 fashion. So we don't really know what to expect in terms of consistency from this team, but they seem to be on an upswing, and we know that the organization is used to international competition. They have many new players in regards to the last time we saw them internationally. Tay in top lane from Pain Gaming last year, Shinny in the jungle, and Envy mid. We know both of them because they played long time for INTZ. Mikao from Vivo Kate, and Redbird in support from Team 1 Esports. So they don't really have many special picks, right? Playing Set and Trundle in the jungle. playing Renekton and Ori, Ezreal, Kalista, but the top laner plays Volibear and the mid laner plays Lucian a bit. So that's probably something you can expect them to pick up at Worlds if the 10.19 patch doesn't change too much. In terms of solo queue ranking at the moment, their top laner is Tier 4, as well as the mid laner, and jungle and support are Tier 1, while the ADC is Tier 2. So yeah, a bit all over the place. So yeah, Intc Brazil was formerly known as a really strong wildcard team with their superstar AD carry BRTT, who failed to qualify for Worlds this time. So Intc have to show that they are the right representative for the region, and maybe they can make up for their last place performance at MSI last year and show how they improved, and that Brazil is, well, on the rise again to become a stronger wildcard region. So going to the next one, it's Rainbow 7 from Latin America. So yeah, they were third and second in the regular splits in summer and spring, but in the summer playoffs they pushed through in a close 3-2 series against first place All Knights to make it to Worlds. It's the most decorated team in Latin America. It has 13 titles, and it was even at last MSI with a second place in the play-in qualifier. So shortly just not making it. I think they were 3-3, so it's not that great of a second place, but at least it's neutral, right? So they want to get to the positive win rates. So the roster, it's Ace on top, Jose Dobo in the jungle, Alone in mid, Jezza in ADC, and Shadow in support. So most of their members come from Psg Gaming, that's another Latin American team, and only Leza, the AD carry, is a long-time Rainbow 7 player. So you might remember Seiya or White Lotus from this team from the past. Both of them left them. I think Seiya went to All Knights and White Lotus went to a no-name team. There were some issues with toxicity with him at the start of the year, so he received a 3-month ban. So yeah, we're not going to see these well-known players. So Rainbow 7 with a rather unknown roster comes into Worlds. They don't have really special picks. Maybe a Shen top lane is a bit unexpected for most teams. But yeah, Ornn, Lee Sin, Zoe, Ashe, Karma, like standard picks is what they play mostly. In rankings, they seem to be a bit higher than what we already had. So top lane is Tier 3, but their jungle and support are Grandmasters, and their mid laner is Tier 1. For the ADC, we don't have a rank yet. I assume we don't know the account, so I didn't find anything in regards to that. So yeah, Rainbow 7, they want to get better than second place and get a better win rate than 50%. Yeah, we don't know in which group they will be yet, as of this recording is made before the draw-in show. I will do a video to the play-in drawing and then group speculations later, but as of now we don't know who each of these teams will be facing in particular. But yeah, so Rainbow 7, they have their goals in mind to become better and get on the next step, maybe reach first. While this play-in format is obviously different, if you didn't know, we only have 2 groups now instead of the 4. So they just have to be in top 4 and then they can play best of series to get into Worlds groups. So next team, the Japanese team V3. So you're probably wondering why it's not Detonation Focus Me. the team that represented Japan for nearly all the time. Yeah, V3 is a team that was like competing with Detonation Focus Me in regular splits and even got first, but in playoffs they would struggle to Detonation Focus Me, and this is the same thing. Yes, this summer they were 12-2 in the regular split, but then had a clutch game, 3-2 series against Detonation Focus Me to clinch their spot at Worlds this time. And they don't really have highly well-known players besides their jungler Boogie from Flash Wolves and Machi Esports. Other than that, Pass in the top lane, Ace in mid, Archer ADC, and Rihanna support. Sorry, I should said it before, but I obviously don't know how to pronounce their names super 100% correctly. Yeah, sorry for that. They also don't play two special picks, champions. Their mid laner plays Galio and LeBlanc, which is a bit unusual, but other than that, Renekton, Lilia, Ashe, Thresh, and Nautilus, standard picks from now. Their mid laner and AD carry are rookies, and their mid laner was even a support AD carry player just a year ago. So yeah, maybe we can expect some AD carry picks in the mid lane. A Lucian, a Corki. Yeah, don't think we will see Kalista mid lane, but yeah, something like that might happen because he should be able to play these champions because of his former AD carry position. In regards to solo queue ranking at the moment, top lane is Plat 1. The same goes for AD carry and support, and the jungle mid are both Diamond 4. Well, remember it's in Chinese solo queue, so that's not their standings like in the Korean ladder, because the Japanese players can play on the Korean ladder with high ping. This is their new rank, which they acquired through boot camping at the moment. So yeah, that might not be totally indicative of their skill, but yeah, it's just a short insight with the data we have at the moment. So yeah, as they are the new representative of Japan, they have to prove that they are in fact the right team for the job and that they will succeed DFM's accomplishments and push Japan to the next level. Japan always was like the upcoming team in the wildcard regions, more or less short behind the let's call it Russian League, the LCL, and Turkey and Vietnam, who has made the step to become more or less a major. So yeah, Japan was always there around at the like 4th or 3rd place in that regard. So maybe V3 can push upwards in the standings. So the next team will be Unicorns of Law of the LCL, as I said. Important to know is it's not the Unicorns of Law that we usually know, because they changed their entire roster. The entire roster of the Vega Squadron team that we saw at the last international event in, what was it, MSI and Worlds last year. Vega Squadron performed and did really well. They qualified for the best of series, but then they just fell short. So Boss, Ahahachik, Ananachik, Nomads, Gadget, and Santas. We all know them more or less if you've watched play-ins before. Yeah, Unicorns of Love like had an amazing year. So they went 44-6 in their last 50 games this year, but they went 35-3 in main LCL games. So there was like a a tournament at the start of the year. Not sure if you can really count that. Not sure if they played seriously there, but yeah. 35-3 in main LCS games, so in summer, in spring split playoffs, and the same for summer. That's really dominating. They only had Gambit as a rival who dominated to a similar extent, but Gambit also had no chance against Unicorns and lost every time, but once, I think. Yeah. So this roster placed 7th last MSI, which is like really good for a wildcard team, let's call them. So yeah, Unicorns of Love wants to exceed that with this roster, and maybe their crazy picks can help them, because like they play Kassadin and Rice in the mid lane and Sivir in AD carry. Okay, we have to understand they smashed the region, so maybe they were just like trolling and like picked what they want, but at least they're proficient on these picks, because, well, they kept on winning with them. So yeah, that's a bit unusual, the scaling mages in the mid lane with Kassadin and Rice, something to be excited about. In terms of solo queue, so jungle and mid are tier 2, and the rest of them are tier 4. So not doing all that well, but, well, maybe they're scrimming more than playing solo queue. As I said before, the solo queue rankings are not like 100% indicative of their skill. It's just like a little showing how well they are performing. Obviously, teams that arrived earlier in China and started playing before will probably have higher ranks than teams that just arrived there at this weekend. The stats are from the 14th of September. So yeah, that can and will also have an impact in this solo queue stat. So the LCL, like a huge favorite for the play-in region, play-in tournament. Probably many expect Unicorns of Love to be the 4th team at Worlds after the major teams. So yeah, going to look out for that. And then we come to our next team. It's Papara Supermassive. I think we all know this team from 2015 MSI, I think it was, where they took TSM to 5 games and made the name for themselves and the Turkish league. After that, they went a bit under the radar with Fenerbahce usually representing the Turkish league. But Supermassive this year, yeah, there are like many surprises. So GBM is then coach for this year. Their regular season performance was kinda meh. They were 3rd. It's okay, but not too great. But then they had a miracle run in the playoffs, and like managed to get to the finals, and then had a clutch 3-2 win against 5 Royals, another team that made a like kinda miracle run in the playoffs. So they are the strong favorites, the 1st and 2nd place from the regular split. Yeah, they were defeated in the semifinals. So yeah, the probably stronger team, Istanbul Wildcats, was a bit robbed there. But we have to see if Supermassive can really show up at Worlds and show that they are the correct representative and not 5 Rowan or Istanbul Wildcats, who are probably the teams most Turkish players would like to have sent to Worlds. Yeah. Personally, for themselves, the team wants to also show that they've managed to grow and redo the massive performances of old, as I mentioned before. So also they have some really nice players, if you know the Turkish league. Armut in top, Kakao in jungle, Bolulu in mid, Zeitnot in ADC, and Snowfollow support. So Armut is a longer time standing supermassive player, formerly at Royal Youth. Kakao, I think many old time League of Legends players know him. He last was at 8PK, Jin Air, and Dark Passage, but he's most famously known for his years at KT Roasters. So yeah, he has like a huge lot of experience and certainly skills. Okay, he is a bit older than his prime, but yeah, it's to be excited about for the playing tournament. Yes, Bululu mid. People know him from 1907 Fenerbahce. Side note, another long-time supermassive player, also probably known, and Snowflower, yeah, a Korean import from KT last year, and then played in Jin-Air and Afrika Freaks formerly. Their picks are really standard: Ornn, Aatrox, Graves, Zoe, Aphelios, and Nautilus, but they have like a few surprises with Blitzcrank and Galio, but we don't expect something like major pocket picks. Yeah, they should like have really, as they have really skilled players, they probably don't look for cheesy strategies and just try to outplay their enemies or like out-rotate them with the loads of experience they have on their roster. Currently, they haven't played much solo queue. For Kakao and Snowflower, we don't have a rank yet, but top and AD carry are in platinum, Diamond 4, and Bululu is in Platinum 1. So yeah, personally, Supermassive looks really good. Like there are many rookies at this tournament, like V3 sends in 2 rookies. Rainbow 7, they have many players who haven't played internationally before. Yeah, so Supermassive with their experienced players, like I'm sure they can be an advantage for them. Also, their like their Korean imports, like I'm really looking forward to them. So then we go to a major team from the PCS, Psg Talon. So they're their second seed, remember? The first seed, Machi Esport, is already at Worlds. And yeah, PSG didn't perform all too well against Machi. They, in their playoffs, they have a loser's bracket as well. So first they won against Machi, if I remember, 3-2. And then, no, they lost 3-2 and then they lost 0-3 in the finals. Something like that. So yeah, they're like, there's a clear difference between Machi and PSG. But yeah, they're still second in a rather like good region, I'd say. But we have to see. It's the first year for this region in a whole. It's a merge of the Southeast Asian League and the Taiwanese League. So yeah, we have to see what the level of play is that we can expect from this region. And yeah, that's a lot of pressure for PSG and Machi as well. But because you can expect if they perform too well, not too well, they might lose their 2 spots at Worlds. That could happen. I think it would be a rush decision based on 1 Worlds to remove a spot. But yeah, I mean the Taiwanese league had 3 spots if I remember correctly, and yeah, now they have more or less only 2. So yeah, maybe Riot is not too fond of them anymore. We have to wait and see. Their players, yeah, Hanabi, I think everyone remembers him from Flash Wolves. Then some rather unknown players, River, Tank, Unified, and Highwing. Yeah, River is from B3, so that will be an interesting matchup for these 2 teams. Yeah, a bit of personal connection there. Unified and Highwing from HK Attitude. Some may remember that team. The picks are like really standard. Renekton, Graves, Azir, Aphelios, and Thresh. Like, nothing too major. For this team, I didn't find their Chinese solo queue rankings, so I looked at their Korean solo queue rankings. I didn't find out what River and Tank's ranking was, but Hanabi and Kaiwing, so top and support, are both grandmasters in Korea, and Unified is a challenger player. So yeah, they certainly have the skill, and you have to remember they're playing on a high ping, so they perform with high ping better than some Koreans with low ping. So yeah, that looks really great for their individual prowess. Yeah, so they have a lot of pressure to show that the PCS is a strong region and that they deserve their 2 seats at Worlds, and also that maybe if they come into groups that they perform better than Nachi and show that the that the playoffs was not indicative to their powers. Yeah, I'm like, you can really look into their top lane and AD carry, like reaching challenger and grandmaster in these roles in Korea with such a high ping. That's a really good thing. So yeah, then coming to the probably best team in Clarence, Lgd Gaming. So they were a bit under the radar for like this whole year, but then at the summer playoffs, they really popped off and yeah, had a good showing and an especially great showing in the regionals. Yes, they were 0-6'd by Suning, the 3rd seed of China, but they dominated IG in the 3-1 fashion, and so they're obviously China's 4th best team. So yeah, that's something to look into, and especially their players, like well known for China. Their rosters are really stacked. They have Langji in top lane, Peanut in the jungle, Xie in mid, Kramer and AD carry, and Mark support. Like every one of these is a really good player. Like Langji, formerly from RNG, Peanut from Genji last year, Xie from WE, Kramer from Africa Freaks, and Mark from Dominious Esport. So yeah, they have all a bunch of experience, and like their individual skills are like really high. Like Peanut and Xie are by far the best mid jungle in the whole playing stage, like by a large margin. Langex depend, like he's mostly on tank duty with On and Volibear, but I think he was a Riven main before he went pro play. So yeah, like he should be able to smash top lane as well. Kramer and Mark. So I haven't watched much of Mark or haven't paid much attention to him in the games, but obviously Kramer, a long time experienced AD carry with Ashe and Ezreal, like, he will be better than like probably every AD carry as well. Like maybe if I don't know, Core JJ pops off, then Tactical can look good. But other than that, like LGD has the best players in every position at Plains. Yeah, like we expect them to be first. Like they shouldn't drop a game, honestly. Like maybe if TL gets their shit together, then TL can maybe upset a game. That's the only thing I could see, but also that like only a small percentage for that. Like that's not very likely. LGD, like the team you should watch if you want to see storms, if you want to see some explosive games. Like remember Peanut against, when was that? I think 2017 in a play or something like that. Like completely dumpstering these wildcard junglers. So yeah, that will be really exciting. And for LGD as a team in a whole, like it's their first international showing since 2015 Worlds. With like what was their team back then? Flame, Imp, well, so many well-known players, but like their team play wasn't well. Like, yeah, I think they went last in their group, so fourth. Yeah, LGD, the legendary squad, wants to go back to like new heights, and I think with this roster and how they played against IG, they really can make it. So play-ins, it's obviously not a hurdle for them. It's just like some on-stage practice games. And then even if they come into a group at Worlds, um, unless they're really unlucky and get like, I don't know, G2 Dragon X, yeah, they should also be a huge contender for every out of group spot, so to speak. So yeah, unless they struggle in play-ins, then obviously not. Then we'll lose our confidence in them. But like if they smash play-ins like we expect, then yeah, they will be a really strong fourth team for any group. Yes. Then coming to the team I already talked a bit about, Team Liquid from NA. Yeah, everyone knows them. I don't have to introduce the team. I think, yeah, we saw much of them in in the last 2 years. Impact top, Broxer jungle, Jensen mid, tactical ADC, and Core JJ support. So if you haven't followed the NA LCS, tactical is the new AD carry for them instead of double lift. So they lose a lot of experience there because tactical is a rookie. And Broxer for impact for Xmithy. Broxer for Xmithy. Yeah, they were first in the regional split, but then lost to TSM in the losers bracket. So yeah, they're the third seed of NA. They should be able to get out of play-ins, obviously. Maybe drop a game here and there. If they really pop off, yeah, they should get first in their group, right? 2 play-in groups, unless they're in the same group as LGD. Yeah, for the group stage, I'm not really feeling it too well. But yeah, that's a different issue. Obviously, like picks for them, Impact's Shen, well known. Broxer with Lee Sin, Jensen with Azi and Twisted Fate, Tactical, Ashe, Caitlyn, standard picks. The ranks, Impact is Tier 1, Broxer, Jensen Tier 2, and Core JJ Tactical are both Grandmasters. So yeah, TL didn't have a great year, like didn't win spring and summer. So yeah, now they have to show at an international event that they're still a great team for NA. And maybe if they have as much luck as in 2019 MSI, they can make it towards and maybe out of groups. Not really sure if that will happen. Probably not. Like it doesn't look good for NA this year. But yeah, will be tough, but play-ins shouldn't be an issue for them. Yeah, probably will be first, I think, in their group. So and then coming to the last team, Mad Lions of Europe. Formerly like more or less Splice. The teams more or less merged. Mad Lions was a Spanish challenger team, let's say, and yeah, we're really dominant in the challenger scene in Europe. Won really many titles there. So yeah, their team are mostly rookies for the like really hard or really good pro scene. Many of them are challenger players that just recently joined Mad Lions or Splice. Rome, Shadow, Karzi, and Kaiser, like they all come from challenger teams, so they have like a bit of experience. They're not just got into league yesterday, but obviously it's not the same level of play as Worlds or like major regions. But Mad Lions performed really well this summer, bargain playoffs. So yeah, if they can go back to their usual form, there should be like no problem at all for this play-ins. Shadow popping off on Lee Sin. Yeah, other than that, they really play standard picks. Like Kaiser sometimes has the Wukong support, but yeah, like not sure if we're going to see that because yeah, it's a bit too frisky maybe. Yeah. Also, it's not Europe's third seed; it's Europe's fourth seed. So they're here to show that Europe has 4 good teams and not only Fnatic and G2. Additionally, as they like carry on the legacy of Splice, in a sense, Splice made it out of groups last year. Yes, their group was like the easiest group ever, and every other team in their group like really underperformed, even FPX. But anyway, they made it out of groups. So Mad Lions, like their goal is to replicate that, yeah, and recreate the success of Splice in a sense. I mean, they even won one game against T1. Yeah, so Mad Lions has like huge shoes to fill in the sense of Splice international, let's call it success, and also the personal one for EU, like showing they're the 4th best team, and maybe if they perform better at groups in Worlds, maybe they can even show that they're not as bad as everyone thought based on the playoffs performance. Yeah, obviously with 4 seeds from EU, every group, 4 seeds from EU and China, every group in World's main event will have an European and Chinese team. 3 teams from Korea are set for the World groups, Genji, Dragon X and Damwon. So yeah, there will only be 1 group without a Korean team, and we assume TL makes it out of groups. So TL, FlyQuest and TSM, 3 and 8 teams, so only 1 group without a North American team. Yeah. But we'll go into Worlds when, well, play-ins is over, and then we'll talk about Worlds a bit more. And maybe after the draw-ins, we'll do some speculations for play-ins, and then maybe which team makes it to Worlds and is slided into different Worlds groups. Yeah, but enough of that. So this finishes the play-in team introductions. I hope you have a good grasp about the teams now, and their power levels are a bit like all over the place, but they are huge favorites from the major regions, and also the wildcard teams like Unicorns of Love. Like they should make waves in this play-in stage. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and see you next time.